Hi, I'm Gavin. So if you've watched any of the other videos, we're sort of like going through the Contact timeline, and today's camera is the follow-on to the enormously successful RTS, and they called it the RTS II. Not the most exciting new title, but it does what it says on the tin. So the RTS II, it is remarkably similar to the RTS one. Like so similar, it's really difficult to tell them apart from a distance. But internally, it's a totally different camera. When the original RTS came out, it didn't have the quartz timing that came later on the 139 and the follow-on range. So that's all built in. It's still got the same sort of specs, but yeah, so internally it's totally different. And they did Contact. This is why I've said before. Contact has like brilliant moments, and after like having a camera that runs for years, the RTS, it's obviously got a few gripes that the customers don't like. And normally, if you're a normal camera company, this is what you do: you ignore the gripes and build in new features, and sell the new version of the camera with new features but new problems. So you sort of forget about those problems. I mean, they've been doing it with us for digital for years. They don't seem to listen to you. They just add new stuff. Contact actually listened to the feedback, and they built all the feedback into the camera. So the initial problem was the feather light touch on here, where you'd accidentally fire it in your bag. So they wanted to keep that feature, but they wanted to give it a control. Now there's another one, the RTS Fundus, which was a medical camera they made, and they built up a guard around here because if you're in a lab and you're shooting, you don't need big fingers, to press a button. So that's one way of doing it. But on the RTS II, they basically gave you an on-off switch. So you turn the switch, you can't fire the camera without turning the on-off switch. That's a real boon. They updated the LEDs inside, but it is literally, and they gave you AE lock as well on this one. It's the same thing. It looks, next to each other, they're the same thing. So it's wide breakaway formula. So all they've really done with this is just build in the key thing that people used to get annoyed about, which was the firing of the shutter button, and they've just gone from there. And it's really tricky because this is slightly different internally. It was very different internally, but like just the viewfinder, it's LED. It's not a meter arm, like an arm on the RTS. Is it a great camera? Yeah, it's a good. Anyway, let's have a look at it, and then I'll come back at the end and finish off. Okay, so here we are. This is the Contact RTS II. Now, if you look at it, it looks incredibly similar to the RTS one. There are some small and such subtle changes going on here on the body, because obviously they wanted to maintain the whole Porsche styling thing and design by Porsche. They want to change the body shape. So let's over here again, like the RTS, the original RTS, we've got the shutter controls, and we've got the the rewind crank, nice sort of slot that it drops into. But obviously there's a problem with the original. You used to be able to knock this here and move it. Half the thing was I could move it quickly. That works for some people, but sometimes you'd knock the shutter thing. So listening to feedback, which is what they did with this camera, there's a small lock here. So if you press that in, then you can move your shutter control. I don't think it's, for me, because I like to do it with my thumb, it's a bit of a pain because I have to move my hand over the other camera. But for some people, they really want it. I wish there was a way to like disengage it and leave it disengaged. But there you go. So that's one of the additional features they brought in on the camera because of feedback. Across the top, obviously, flash shoe. Over here, absolutely identical way to move your ISO, lift, move, and if you just turn the big one, this changes your exposure compensation. But then there's a new thing here. If you look, this is the on-off button. You see the little red dot? Let me turn that up. This is what was introduced. So when that's like that, unlike the original, I could fire a shot now. When it's like this, now it's active and live and the electronics are on. So that was the additional feature. The other one that they put in, so same again, that's press, that's your rewind, there's your shutter, there's your frame counter. So the other little thing that they integrated into this is turn to the front. So very similar, so quite similar. It's more similar to the actual, like the 139s or the 139Qs timer. There's your self timer. But they've got an AE lock on this, so you could literally lock your exposure with that flick switch. So you're already metering, you go, oh, I like that, I'll just keep that there. So you can lock exposure. That's sort of a new feature. Same thing here, you've got depth of field preview, mirror lockup, but that's been moved from the side. Oh no, it hasn't. You've got mirror lockup here. What's that lever? There's another feature there I've missed. We'll find out what that lever does another time, but I've missed that one. But you've got mirror lockup over here again as well. So, mind you, maybe that locks it. Investigate that. I've shot this thing for years and I've never used that. That must be that important. Okay, then underneath, it's I didn't show you the bottom of the other one, but it's much more sleeker. This basically there's your film rewind there, but you've got a much nicer. You saw this on the 167, much nicer way to get your batteries in. But this takes one of those CR. It takes CR cells, and that's really it. I mean, there is there's the thing for the X-Sync flash mode, which I've never used. And I've got a Tamron adapter on here. You can see that. You can see it's like, what's this one, 28? Yeah, so there you go. But there's not much body-wise. From a distance, it'd be hard to tell them apart. It really would. They're very, very, very similar looking cameras for the RTS-1 and the RTS-2. The internals, as I said, it's still got the same top shutter speed of 1/2000, but it's different type of shutter. It's got different electronics. So it's a whole different thing inside. But yeah, so that's it. So that's the RTS-2. Okay, so here we are. This is the RTS-2 viewfinder. Slightly different. You see the gauge has gone on there, sort of like numbers have gone on the right hand side. There's nothing on, it's not switched on. So if I just turn it on, still nothing. But now if we touch the meter, it lights up. Across the bottom, you've got what the current aperture is. And on the right hand side, it's got its shutter speed. So if I just, hang on, change the aperture, there we go, you can see it go up and down. Now, if you've forgotten that you put exposure compensation on, it's quite clever. Let me just try and do this. I've just managed to take a photograph there. Hang on. And press there we go. Now you see I've got exposure compensation. That little dot's come up in the bottom left. Let me just put it back to 0. There it goes. And then also, obviously, when you jump into auto mode, bit of finger work here, there we go. We're starting to see it's, and then meter again, there. So I'm sort of like matched up with what the count, again, it's like the RTS-1, it's sort of suggested something for me to do. Very clean, really simple, much clearer, obviously super simple and easy to use. Okay, so that's the RTS-2. I mean, very similar to the RTS. Is it a good camera? As I sort of was going to say, yeah. Again, it's like the RTS. It's a phenomenal thing. It's designed for you to use it, and that's where a lot of manufacturers are sort of going wrong. Olympus, not so much. Olympus did a really good job with their design, but again, it's got all the same things. It's really easy to shoot. They're really robust. You feel like you're holding it, because obviously, I don't know if you know this, but when you hold a camera, it's too light. It's like the newer things are made out of polycarbonate and all this. You get what's called like micro jitters, where you feel, you're supposed to have 3 points of contact. It's eye, arms like this. But if you just want to bang a shot off like this, or your hands still shake tiny. If certain cameras have just enough weight to make your muscles lock up, so that you just don't get it. And it's always, I don't like light cameras. It's just a weird thing. It's like anything that's got a bit of resistance to it as you're carrying it. It does mean that when it goes in your bag, you've got to carry around a tank all day. Not a tank, but a heavy camera. But yeah, It's the 1 and the 2. I can't tell which one I like the most. I shoot them all the time. They're great cameras. Again, just aperture, as I said, like aperture variety, simple, elegant, and they do the job really well. Okay, thank you.